Hi guys, it's that time again where I'm decorating my content cake. So I obviously have to get rid of the New Year's design. R.I.P. But good news, I'm finally decorating a Bratz cake. Yeah, you heard that right. So when I think of Bratz, I think of pinks, purples, 2000s, bows, cheetah print, glitter, gold, you know, so many different ideas. And I had to think of a way to condense this all onto a 6-inch cake. So I had this sick idea to make frames. So I got these mirror molds from Amazon and then I just dusted them with some cornstarch and stuffed some yellow fondant in there. This is how I make all of my fondant molds, by the way. After putting that in, I roll it with a fondant rolling pin to make sure that all the detail is being captured and then cut it with a sharp knife. Then you want to gently flip it over and slowly release and you should be left with a perfect little frame. I always like to make spares just in case one breaks. So these are the edible images that I'm going to be using. I decided to use one iconic image of each Bratz. So those little circles are the backdrop for each picture frame. So I just cut out each Bratz with an X-Acto knife and then wet the fondant. I then placed the image on there and sprinkled on some glitter and brushed away the excess with a paintbrush. I'm not gonna lie, this took forever and it's very extra, but so are the Bratz, so I had to make sure I was matching their energy. Next, I painted each picture frame with some gold luster dust and some food grade ethanol. And then once these frames have hardened, you want to paint the back with some water and place it on the glittery backdrop that you just made. Does that make sense? If you followed my instructions, you should be left with these gorgeous glittery gold picture frames. Okay, so now that the hard part is out of the way, it's time to decorate the actual cake. So I start off by placing a healthy amount of buttercream on top of the cake and then I spread that out with an offset spatula. This is just standard American buttercream, by the way. And before you guys ask, yes, I have a recipe and it's pinned on my page. To smooth out the sides, I go in with my metal scraper. I got mine from Amazon and then I slowly drag it across the top just to make sure that it's nice and flat. And then I go around one more time just to catch any overhang. And to keep my edges nice and sharp, I cut off the lip with a warm knife. Guys, I'm actually obsessed with how these frames came out. Like, I want an exact replica of this in my room. But you just want to place some buttercream onto the cake and then gently place the fondant frames on there. I didn't add any CMC into the fondant, otherwise it would just harden too much and then when I'm trying to bend it around the curves of the heart, it would crack. And I didn't want that. So here I was making some edible paint. So I just mixed Sugar Flare Baby Pink, Wilton Pink, and then this Rejuvenator Spirit. And I just used that to paint these hot pink spots all over the cake. This is the cheetah print, by the way, if you couldn't tell. And I've never actually painted on a cake before, so I was really excited when this actually started to work. And I'm not even joking, this design was coming to me as I was decorating the cake. Imagine if I was an iPad girly and I could sketch out the cake before doing it. That would save so much time. But to do the black border, I used the JEM 103 piping tip. And then I just sprinkled this hot pink glitter, which I think is the perfect base for the Bratz logo. Like, this is definitely a trust the process cake, but just trust me, okay? I then finished off the cheetah print with the black outline. And I love painting cheetah print because it's really easy. You just want to paint black around the splotches and it doesn't have to join up and it doesn't have to be perfect, so it's great for beginners. To finish off the borders, I went in with my 4B piping tip and at first I was like, oh, this color combo is scaring me, but I did end up liking it. It is giving Bratz, right? And at this point, I was like, might as well just go all the way. So I added these pink bows to the front and back, finished it with some glitter spray, and here's a final spin and a night mode. Yeah, it's eating. I ended up absolutely loving it. And you know who else loved it? Sasha. She literally asked me if she could use it in her birthday shoot. And I was like, yes, girl, of course. My girl was kind enough to send me the pictures from the shoot, so I'll show you those in a minute. But as always, guys, let me know what you think of this cake and which is your favorite Bratz doll. Now let's get into these pictures. Tens across the board. Sasha, girl, you are fierce.